people are screaming for turnkey houses. No one really wants to do work themselves. Obviously, cost of materials and everything, labor and everything else. So turnkey houses are the ones that are performing extremely well. Look stupid.
Hi, I'm Levi. Hi, I'm Julien. We're from old school. Take it back.
So Julian, we're here to talk about the inflation rates, our take on the property market, Bank of England base rates and mortgage rates in general, and what we've been experiencing as well. So take us away.
Yep. So we know that inflation is currently at 2.5%.
Yep.
We know that last year, 2024, the average inflation, I believe, was 2.53%.
It was.
So it's come down all the way from about 11% over the last couple of years.
Do you know what it was in 2023?
No.
7.37%.
Wow. Right. Okay.
So it's come down quite a bit. And then in
so it
2022,
sort of nosedived. Yeah.
22, it was 9.07.
Nice. Okay. So what's that meant for the property market from our perspective then?
So what we've seen then basically is the base rates have come down, which obviously shot up in 2022.
Yeah.
And the mortgage interest rates have also come down. So because of that, we're seeing a lot more transactions happening in the market, which obviously is good for the property market in general. But it just means that there's more buyers that are out there, more people are selling, essentially.
Excellent. There was a statistic you had on mortgage approvals. What was it? It was something like 66,500 mortgages were approved compared to the month before, which was up by about 38%. Is that right?
So if anyone sees me looking down, I'm basically using my little cheat sheet, but it is so there were 66,500 mortgage approvals alone in December 2024, which was an increase of 1.22% from November. But there's been a 31.68% jump from December 2023.
Right.
So we're seeing there's obviously a lot more people that are applying for mortgage, which obviously means they're buying houses in 2024 than what was in 2023, which shows the market's going in the right direction, of course. So we're saying, hoping, obviously, long may it continue going into 2025.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. 2023 was a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
For the property market. I mean, it reminded me of a bad 2019, which was just slow.
The Brexit time.
Yeah, that's it. And I think people were just sort of recovering from the COVID housing boom, if you want to call it that. And then 2024 seemed to pick up a bit more so towards the latter stage of the year. And then, we've seen a really busy first quarter in 2025. So sort of being on the ground, I don't know if you would agree, but I feel like things are much busier. We're getting way more viewings.
Yeah.
More offers on one property, multiple offers.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's going in the right direction.
The thing with it is that we're talking now, the day before Bank of England get together again to look at the base rate. Chances are going to reduce it by 0.25, by 0.5%. That doesn't necessarily mean that the mortgage interest rates are going to follow, but just reading now, the banks are already reducing their rates based off what they think is going to happen tomorrow anyway. So they're going in the right direction, which means, again, there's more buyers. The big thing to talk about as well is the stamp duty change as of the 1st of April. But again, I read a stat somewhere that 90% of people, 90% of transactions that have had a sale agreed from January don't expect to make it by then. So the people who are buying the houses now aren't trying to push it through before then, but they're not expecting to. So they're not buying a house on the proviso that they're going to be able to beat that, which means that it's quite steady. Of course, we're going to see a drop off after the April time because it's natural, and the previous times it has happened with stamp duty changes, you do see a drop off in terms of buyers, like a slight dip. But it's expected to pick back up again, obviously, after that. So we are expecting that, but people who are buying now are already aware that they're probably going to not make that stamp duty change, so it's not too bad.
I read also somewhere in the sort of news where you just read random stuff, that economists were saying there was going to be around 4 interest rate cuts, or base rate cuts, sorry.
Yeah.
Base rate cuts. Just this year alone. So I mean, even if there is that little bit of a lull after the transition in April with stamp duty and things like
Yeah,
that, I still think that there's going to be some fuel being injected into the property market as well.
for sure.
And it's generally widely known that capital growth is still happening on properties
There
in the
was
majority of areas.
there was talk around the inheritance tax changes as well, which is a separate video which we've done about that. But again, they're predicting in general that there's going to be a lot more people who are downsizing from their big houses to then pass money down to help first-time buyers with their deposits
Yeah.
for their houses. And then final thing to just talk about, don't know if it's going for too long, but um, the the VAT being added to the private schools.
Oh yeah.
And again, with that happening, we're still predicting and seeing people moving into state school Ofsted outstanding areas to get their kids into the school rather than paying the VAT at the private school. So again, if people are in those kinds of areas and wanting to sell, then there's a huge uptake of buyers for those houses because
Right.
of the VAT. So that's what's going on so far. Obviously, we're going to do this monthly. We don't want to do this every single week and bore people to tears, but we can hit people with headlines. And of course, if they've got any questions, as we say, our door's always open, our phone's always ready for them to call.
Absolutely. One last point.
Go on.
What's your outlook for 2025's property market in Leeds? Property prices specifically.
Prices at the minute, if you've got a house that's turnkey, then we're seeing there's like a huge amount of viewings and buyers. People are screaming for turnkey houses. No one really wants to do work themselves. Obviously, cost of materials and everything, labour and everything else. So turnkey houses are ones that are performing extremely well. Houses that need everything doing to them if they're in probate or anything like that. Again, it's the same because people know what it is before they get there. But the ones in the middle are the ones that struggle a little bit. So I think that will continue. People just want it to be nice and easy for them. There's
Yeah.
obviously experienced buyers and sellers who don't mind doing work themselves, but it's mainly the turnkey houses. So I think that will continue. With base rates coming down and interest rates looking at the coming down as well, I can't see anything else other than these figures, which we're talking about with the number of mortgage approvals, applications, and everything else. Currently see it going up, which obviously means that there's more people buying. So that's how I think it's going to continue.
Good. So pretty positive.
I'd say so.